Otherwise, you're going to get a lawyer and the government involved, federal or state government, and the lawyer is going to take all the money you have.
Does he not understand I want him to be around his kids? He just doesn't trust me. That's what this comes down to.
No, I don't trust her. How am I supposed to trust her? You know, like what's the next move she's going to make against me? She's going back to a state that will come after if she decides to, okay?
We're not doing anything ever in Utah.
Utah's like this enemy. I put egg on their face. Well, she's going back to a state that hates me.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. Things are getting spicy in Flagstaff and in Utah because on the show of Sister Wives, Kody and Robyn Brown are trying to have a redemption arc. They're trying to be back and looking like a good, solid couple, Kody being the great dad. But in the real world, what's happening off camera is the spicy part. And we're watching stuff happening 2 years ago, but I'll tell you something. There's some spicy stuff happening right now in court in Utah and in the real estate market in Flagstaff. Now, some of you had let me know that Kody and Robyn had pulled their listing off of the MLS. And apparently yesterday, their listing had been pulled off Zillow. Up until yesterday, their listing had been remaining on several of their sites. And as of this morning now, the listing is gone. And initially I was like, well, that's weird. But then I realized, no, it's not. It's actually not weird at all. This is actually good. And this is because Christine is blocking them from selling their house. So Kody and Robyn are barred from selling this house and they have to pull this listing. It is not because the home had been on the market for, more than 30 days and hadn't sold. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that Kody is barred from selling his house and attempting to liquidate assets. And this is all because Christine Brown is coming for him. So let's talk about it. Back on August 30th, Kody surprised everyone. Kody and Robyn surprised everyone when they unexpectedly listed their home in Flagstaff for $1.65 million. The decision to sell the home was really just bizarre because people were like, wait a minute, why are you selling your house? You have kids that go to college in Flagstaff. You claim that this is like where you're going to put down your roots. You have this house that you claim that is going to be like where you're going to raise your kids for the next 15 years. Remember, he said that to Janelle, like he said that he needs a place to house his kids. So obviously knowing that this house being the nicest house that they've ever owned why would they put this on the market? And then we realized things like the home is being put on the market with deficiencies. So Kody had tried to do some upgrades to the house last year. According to Coconino County's permit portal, on December 11th of 2023, Kody's house had a permit taken out for it by an electric contractor that was going to be doing panel upgrades, mechanical equipments, water heaters, yard lines, demolition, and re-roof. Okay. And the permit was taken out December 11th, 2023. The permit and the scope of the job was supposed to be 7 months long, and it expired on July 10th of 2024. And the permit expired. So nothing was actually fixed. So it looks like he had a contractor come out, give him a bid. The contractor went ahead and got a permit to start the work, and then the work never happened. So there was issues at the house that Kody had apparently wanted to fix. He actually spoke about this on a podcast and said that they were having some electrical issues with their house and they were trying to get their electrical upgraded along with some other remodeling that needed to get done and repairs that needed to be done, maintenance. And so people were kind of shocked because they were like, well, why are you putting a house on the market that you were trying to have repaired? A lot of people thought that maybe these repairs were being done ahead of the possibility of selling the house. Sometimes when you're getting ready to sell a house, a realtor might say to you, you need to make these repairs, you need to fix this, this, and this before you can sell it. When the house went on the market, people noticed that they had some damage to their deck and the railing looked unsafe and it didn't look like the kind of deck you would want to sell for a $1.6 million house, right? So like if the house has issues, it devalues the home, right? So, and it makes it difficult for the house to pass inspections. So, when you don't fix things and then you put your house on the market, it's kind of strange. So, there was a capital issue here. You wouldn't take out a permit and have your house go through all of this process if you weren't planning to make the fix. And so, it's my opinion, and it's always been my opinion that they didn't have the money to do this. Well, regardless of that, the house gets put on the market on August 30th, which surprised everyone, even Cody's daughter, McKelty. Cody doesn't have a lot of great relationships with his kids, and obviously he has said on the show that gossip is ruining his family, so he doesn't tell anyone anything, which is stupid because he's the biggest gossip of them all. But within 2 weeks of Cody putting the house on the market, Christine filed a lawsuit against him. And I didn't think that the timing was a coincidence. I feel like Christine saw the house go on the market and she knew she had to file the lawsuit because he was trying to get rid of assets. And she's suing him for debt that he owes her for child support and medical. How child support cases work in the state of Utah is that when someone files for child support, they must first establish paternity if the person that is the biological father is not on the child's birth certificate. We all know that Christine did not put Cody on birth certificates. So she filed a lawsuit basically to establish Cody as the biological father, and then also for child support, child custody, and parenting time, along with back child support. So in the state of Utah, once paternity is actually established, the parent that is awarded custody has the right to seek arrears for 4 years in the past. So she has the ability to go back to 2020, and she has the ability to seek any debts for not only child support, but medical expenses. And so in the state of Utah, it's a requirement that a parent not only pay child support, but that also both parents are required to have medical insurance or contribute to medical expenses. In the state of Utah, you have to first obviously establish paternity. Once paternity is established, then they work through the order to determine what the child support will be based upon who is awarded custody. And the individual that files the petition for both custody, paternity, and child support can also request arrears, meaning retroactive child support. In the state of Utah, they allow people to go back 4 years 4 years from the date of the filing for retroactive child support. So Christine can go back to 2020 and state, I want retroactive child support and medical payments from 2020 to today, meaning that she's seeking Cody pay her a debt that she believes is owed to her. So they won't know the exact amount due until Cody is served in this case and until his income is established. He will have to provide to the court income and asset information, which is put into a calculator. And then the calculator is what will set up how much he has to pay her on a monthly basis. It is more than likely, due to the fact that Cody has completely abandoned his child and doesn't have a consistent relationship with her, that Christine would be awarded the primary custody of Truly. She then would be the one that would receive the child support. She is not going to agree to a 50-50 agreement because Cody wanted 50-50, because if two parents both have 50-50, theoretically they can split the cost of the care of the child. Okay. With a child custody agreement, though, they have to have a bedroom for that child. They have to have specific guidelines for when the child is going to be with the father or the parent. So right now, Cody doesn't have a specific place for Truly in his home. He doesn't. He doesn't have a space for her designated for her room. There's a bunch of issues that Cody's facing when it comes to Truly that will not go in his favor in this case. The facts are that Truly is also 14 years old, and she can tell the court she doesn't want to live with her father. Okay. Now, here's the interesting part. We don't know which children this case involves because the names of the children are not listed. But the filing date of this case is interesting because she filed it in September of 2024. According to the law, she can go back 4 years to get arrears and retroactive pay for debt for children, right? What happened in September of 2020? Why would she be filing this now? Because in September of 2020, Ysabel Brown had surgery on her scoliosis. Christine can also, and very well could be, seeking paternity for Ysabel. Ysabel is 21 years old, and under the law, Christine can establish paternity and seek payment for Ysabel up to 4 years after she turns 18. Now that she's 21, Christine can seek not only child support, but retroactive payment for medical expenses for Ysabel. Christine had to purchase an extremely expensive medical and health insurance policy that had a massive deductible of over $50,000 for Ysabel to obtain that surgery. Cody paid none of it. The reason why she filed it not only has to do with, in my opinion, truly, but she's going for Ysabel's, I believe, medical debt. So she can establish paternity for Ysabel, and then she can also seek that Cody repay her for the surgery that occurred in September of 2020 because she can go back 4 years. I don't think this is a coincidence. So I kind of have this feeling that she had a deadline she needed to make in order to get this money for Ysabel. She's probably been fighting with Cody for years about the debt that he owes her for the scoliosis surgery. Remember how Cody didn't want to have the surgery and didn't even go to the surgery? And then Christine had to take out the policy herself, and she went live and talked about how she was paying for it and she wasn't getting help from anyone else. Well, now she actually has the tools because the state of Utah allows her to go back. Obviously, I can't see if she's going for this, but it makes the most sense that this order would not just include Ysabel, truly, but also Ysabel. Ysabel's 21. She's within the age frame where she can still go back and get back retroactive child support and collect on any debts, medical or child support, for 4 years. That takes us back to when she was 17 and had scoliosis surgery. Christine has medical debt for Truly from when Truly was in the hospital in the ICU and she was a 3-year-old. And unfortunately for that, she can't go after Cody for that debt, but she still can go after Cody for the debt for Ysabel. And frankly, Cody paid for Dayton's surgeries and Dayton's medical debts, so he should be paying for Ysabel. That should not have ever fallen on Christine alone. And honestly, I think the reason why Cody didn't want to go to the surgeries because he didn't want to pay for it. So he was not on Ysabel's birth certificate. He was not on Truly's birth certificate, and Christine has a deadline. At the same time that Christine filed the lawsuit for child support, paternity, and such, she also did something interesting. She filed a injunction. Now, domestic relations injunctions can be added to any case that's in the state of Utah. And the lawyers for the parties will try to determine what injunction is needed. There are different levels of injunctions, different requests that can be made, and not all are standard. In this case, because it involved child support, paternity, parenting time, custody, and debt, they sought an injunction that not only limited what Cody could do and the behavior Cody has by like his harassment and intimidation and violence, but also it put a block on Cody from getting rid of assets. So the injunction specifically states that if the petition involves the division of property, personal property, or debts, the parties must not transfer, encumber, conceal, or dispose of your property or the other property or the other party's property unless you have the written consent of the other party or you have a court order, except in the usual course of business or provide the necessities of life. So if Christine's case includes retroactive child support, where she is going to be requesting that Cody be billed for the retroactive child support that he should have been paying for her back to 2020, in this case, according to Utah law, that would be considered a debt. Another debt that can also be considered in cases like this is medical debt. So if there is a medical debt that Christine has because of one of the kids, this would be considered a debt that needs to be divided appropriately. So as a part of the case, what she can do is if she's seeking money for Ysabel's medical or even for Truly's medical, we don't know what this is about, she can block him from transferring, encumbering, concealing, or disposing of property or her property unless she has written consent of the other party or a court order. And the only way that you can get rid of property or dispose of property by meaning selling would be that Christine would have to agree to let Kody sell the house, or Kody would have to seek to sell the house to the court. Now, when it comes to child support in the state of Utah, assets and income are a part of determining how much the person pays. And because Christine is seeking arrears, it's important for her that she prevent Kody from getting rid of anything and getting rid of assets so that she can recover the amount due to her. So it's a protection. But this, and I want to be clear, this prevents her from the same. So not only can she block Kody from selling, but she can't sell any of her properties. She can't do anything like that. Like her husband David is selling his house, but her name isn't on it. So he can do that. That house he purchased before Christine and him were married. It's not marital asset. But Kody and Robyn can't sell their home because right now he's being sued. Right now, Kody has not been served, as far as I can tell, in this lawsuit. He has not responded and he doesn't have an attorney. So this is not put into effect until he is served. What's interesting to note, though, is that Christine was in Arizona last week with Janelle, Truly, and with Gwendolyn and Beatrice and David. She very well could have had Kody served while she was in Arizona. Perhaps Kody even had an opportunity to see Truly, and then she could serve the records. He could have been served, it just hasn't been filed yet in the court. But once it's filed into court, he cannot actually sell the house. He pulled the listing at the same time that Christine was down there in Arizona on a trip with Janelle. I also don't think that's a coincidence. So right now he's not listed as served, but I'm guessing that he's been served. It just needs to update with the court. So because there's an injunction in place, Kody cannot sell that house. That house has a ton of equity in it, and the sale of that house and the proceeds of the sale of that house could certainly help pay back Christine for any money due to her, obviously. But Kody is very well known for trying to unload assets and hide assets. Why do you think he was buying so much art and jewelry and cars, doing all of these things to hide money from people? Because then it belonged to him. And because he's not married to any of them, it's his own personal property. It's his marital property with Robyn. And those women can't have any access to his personal property. If he doesn't have joint property with any of them, they can't go after it. So it would make sense that he would buy all that crap because they can't sue him for that, right? So now the property is taken off the market, and it's more than likely due to this injunction. So my theory here, and you can all say I'm speculating, but this is what makes the most sense. Christine and Kody were probably trying to mediate this through her attorney. They were trying to get her paid the money that she was owed for child support, medical expenses, and it very well could also include Ysabel's scoliosis surgery. Okay. She's probably been fighting with Kody for years about this. She's at a point where she has to file this in order to get paid because September 2020 is when this surgery happens. She has to file this by the point in time so that she can get this money. Kody is probably well aware that this is going to happen. And so my guess is that in an effort to get ahead of the lawsuit, he might have been hoping for a quick sale of the home so that he could offload the property before any lawsuit could actually be put into place. My guess is that when Christine saw that they put the home on the market, she and then her attorneys worked together to file their complaint, their petition, and file the order in the court in the state of Utah. And now that the injunction is in place, Kody and Robyn cannot conceal, encumber, transfer, or dispose of property. This also means that Kody cannot transfer any of his properties into Robyn's name alone, right? So if he wanted to try to get away from having to pay this, he also can't transfer income or assets into Robyn's name alone to avoid accountability. This is putting Kody in a very uncomfortable position because he's never been held on the hook by any of the women for financial repercussions. And Christine is the only one of them that can do this. I mean, technically speaking, if Janelle wants to do this in the state of Arizona, she can for Savannah. I don't know if she will, but she can also do this for Savannah because Savannah's only 20. Not all of these women are going to want to go through the steps of going through the courts. But in the case of Christine, I think she has had to live and swallow up so much debt from Truly's NICU or from Truly's ICU which I think she said at one point it was over $250,000 to Ysabel's surgery, which was so expensive. Kody has to pay, and Christine has every right to do this. And so when anyone asks, like, why was this taken off the market? That's probably why. She probably blocked the sale of this. And you're going to probably see more weird stuff happening like this that makes no sense. And as I can try to put together the rationalizations here, I'll put it together with the court records and everything so that you can see why things are happening a certain type of way. I thought it was weird that Kody and Robyn would put the house on the market, but given that he doesn't like to have to part with assets, I'm guessing he was trying to do it ahead of a lawsuit. So he knew it was coming, and Christine knew it was coming. And generally, if you're going to sue for something, you try to mediate it before you go to court because court's expensive. You try to get these things sorted out outside of court. And obviously that didn't work. So she had to go to court. So now Kody and Robyn are going to be stuck in Flagstaff, unable to sell their home until they actually sort through this child custody case. And Kody will be ordered through the process of paying anything that that's due. Like if he has medical debt that he still owes her, he's going to have to pay that. If she's awarded primary custody and she needs arrears, she can get it. Kody's going to be on the hook for a lot of money. You have to remember that he was the sole, like he made the most money out of all of them. That will absolutely come back to bite him in the ass. And the kids deserve it. The women deserve it. And I'm proud of Christine for doing this. So Kody and Robyn, their day of reckoning is here. Their financial mess is getting worse. And now they have been blocked from selling their house, allegedly. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. We are almost at 400,000 subscribers. I'd love to see that number by the end of this year. It would be wonderful if so many of you that are watching would subscribe. It's totally free. Make sure to click on the bell so you never miss a video. And thank you all so much for watching. Bye, everyone.